And he said, I think it's time to come out of retirement, you and me. Let's go do something that's never been done.
The famous line that will forever live in Brad Barton's head, a reuniting between coach and runner, a relationship that began decades prior right here in Ogden.
He's always been such a great young man. Now he's not quite so young anymore.
Barton wasn't highly recruited as a high school runner in Idaho.
The only D1 school that was interested in me was Weber State, and Coach had an All-American that ran for him, and his little brother was running the Idaho State Cross Country Championship. And so he went out there to watch this other runner, and I ended up winning that race by 23 seconds. He recruited me instead.
Under longtime Weber track and field coach Chick Hislop, Brad would enjoy an accolade-full career with the Wildcats, earning All-American status himself and finishing with a national runner-up finish in the steeplechase before a failed attempt at reaching the Summer Games in Barcelona.
And it just has been a sore spot my whole life.
So with what he thought was the end, Brad moved on with his life, started a family, and did what many former athletes do, leaving it all behind as just a memory of the past.
Do a lap around before we do something like that.
That is until more than a decade and a half later, when he randomly stumbled across a Masters race between runners his own age.
And I just thought, that's dumb. Here are these old guys trying to recapture old glory. And then halfway through the race, I'm thinking, well, I could do that.
But if he really was going to do it, Barton would need a coach, only to realize he had one all along.
And I told him that I'd run 4:32, and he said, you did what? How old are you?
Turns out by now, Brad was in his mid-40s, but Hislop was more than happy to go find his old stopwatch and join forces with Barton once again.
Some people, as they get a little older, they kind of fall into a rut. And he never was in that rut. He always wanted to see how much he could do and how well he could become.
He says, let me be the brain, you be the brawn. We'll reinvent what it means to train at a world-class level.
And so this old duo started to train again.
I mean, some of these workouts, Morgan, they're so hard that, you know, they leave me gasping and flu symptoms for 2 days afterwards. I mean, this is tough.
It took some time, but soon this Spanish Fork resident started thinking big.
Coach told me, he says, you're gonna have to do 1,000 really hard things to break world records.
And at 48, the records came, first in the indoor 3,000 meter in the 45 to 49 age bracket, which was followed by another world best in the steeplechase.
To set a age group record in the latter half of that age group is extremely unusual.
And so fast forward 5 years later, 9 days ago in fact, in Nashville, Tennessee, where this now 53-year-old had his eyes set on a third world record, this time in the mile. He would go up against a former Irish Olympian, among others.
Turning that last turn, and I realized I'm going to win this race. Not just going to break a record, we're going to smash it.
And that is a new world Masters record. 4:19:59 for Brad Barton.
He would beat the old mark set 18 years prior by 6 seconds. Barton's road to the top has come with some regrets, the botched attempt at the Olympics being one, and never finishing under 4 minutes as a young man being another.
4:19 at 53. That's a pretty good consolation prize.
So what now? Is there a 90 to 94 bracket? Can you see yourself still doing this in 30 years?
That would be fun. I think that's where real happiness is. It's in the journey of doing something that's very difficult.
Morgan Vance, Fox 13 Sports Page.